Hey, what's up guys? Signal What Ifs here, and today I am doing What If Deku Had the Sharingan Part 3. Now before this video starts, I would like to mention a couple things. For starters, last video, like the last two videos when I said that he will not be having lightning style, I made a poll for it. Y'all wanted him to have it, so I vetoed that. Like, I'ma just say this. Anything I said about him not having lightning style was a whole load of bullshit. Like, it was a whole load of horse. Can't lie to you. Like, for real. It was a whole load of BS. So, now, without further ado, I'm gonna get into the video.
Who am I? Someone that you let go. You decide you have it, come let me know. You decide you have it, tryna let go.
Hey, what's up guys? Now, we left off right after the entrance exams where Hizashi walked in. Now, we time skip about 2 weeks. Over these 2 weeks, the two have been coming closer and closer. They're saying that now. And they also ended up getting their acceptance letters. And Izuku ended up with 230 points, while Katsuma got her current score in canon, but with an extra robot or two because of training with Deku. So yeah, now we time skip to the first day of school. Now, when Izuku wakes up, he instantly remembers that, yeah, Katsuma's next to him. So, like, yeah, I'm gonna say, like, yeah, she slept over. So, Katsuma and Izuku woke up, and Izuku started putting on his uniform. Katsuma, realizing that her uniform's at her house, runs off to her house and gets her uniform, and Izuku meets her right when she gets downstairs. And yeah, now, on their way to school, they're talking with each other. As Izuku then asks, "Hey Katsuma." Katsuma responds with, "Hmm?" Izuku then says, "Why? What? When did you start liking me?" As Katsuma then says, "Baka, well, you can't ask things like that out of nowhere," as she's bright red right now. As Izuku chuckles to himself, as she then says, "I've had since we were kids." As Izuku, he then gets like, yes sir. But like, yeah, this scene is not really relevant to the story as much as it's supposed to be. But anyways, we get to when they get in front of class 1A, as Katsuma and Izuku would end up getting lost, as the school is absolutely fucking massive. Like, seriously, it is stupid. Like, it's as if Giants goes here. And Izuku would end up finding class 1A and would end up running back off to get Katsuma, and they end up going in front of the class 1A door, both saying at the same time, "Are there giants here or something?" As Katsuma would have some parts of her canon self, as she is a tsundere in this, just letting y'all know that now, like, it's pretty damn obvious. But besides that, they walk inside and are instantly greeted by Ida, who's chopping his hands up and down, saying, "I am Ida Tenya." As Izuku, he just says, "I'm Izuku Midoriya." As as Ida hears Midoriya, he's like, "The number 3 heroes kid?" As Izuku then says, "Yeah, the fire hero." I'm pretty sure I named him Ryu. The fire hero, Ryu. As Todoroki, who's already in the class, hears this. He's like, so he's the son of the third. As they then just go to sit down. As everything proceeds to canon, Aizawa waking up, going inside with his caterpillar, and him threatening everybody to go outside and change. Now, in the locker room, Minietta would be there. he would be trying to peep inside the girl peeping on the girls, as he then says, "Oh wow, a gift from our upperclassmen." Ah, as he then starts to look through, as he starts to listing off things about the girls, as he was about to get to Katsuma, but Izuku spent no time. He instantly activated his Sharingan, grabbed Minietta's shoulder, and dislocated it instantly. And Minietta just screams in pain as he then stumbles back, as he then yells, "What the hell, dude?" As Izuku then says, "If you ever," activating his Sharingan, like not really activating it, but like it's active, like it's glowing right now. As Izuku then proceeds to look at Minietta and proceeds to put him in one of the worst genjutsus he's ever come across. Not genjutsus, but like one of the worst illusions ever, showing Minietta being tortured in some of the worst ways, things that Izuku would do to him if he ever tries this again, as this would actually end up scaring Minietta straight for the time being, as he is in fear, as he was screaming this whole time. As Gyro heard this, she's like, "Well, girls," as they all heard Minietta scream, is like, "What was that?" He's like, "Well, let's just say Izuku, or whatever his name, Izuku Midoriya, yeah, he just scared the perv shitless, I guess." He looked into his eyes, and Minietta just started screaming as if he just saw some of the worst things possible. As, yeah, I'm gonna say that he does know that he can put people in illusions. He does know this. He hasn't really just tried it as much. He just activated it on instinct when he was looking at Minietta. As Katsuma hears this, as Gyro continues, "He seems to have only did it when we were about to talk about you," as she points to Katsuma. As Katsuma then says, "Ah," as she then blushes tremendously, and she then just mumbles under her breath, "Baka, baka, baka, baka," as Izuku walks out feeling like a hero right now, like he feeling good about himself. And the rest of the boys were just straight up terrified. Like, they do not want to know what Minietta saw, as when they tried to ask what Minietta saw, Minietta's like, "No, no, keep him away from me, keep him away from me." Like, he is in fear. He's like, "I will never peep on a girl ever again." Like, he is in true fear. As Izuku, he walks outside, the girls thank him, and Katsuma just kisses him on the cheek, as the girls are like, "What? How come she gets him?" As Katsuma just sticks her tongue out, as Izuku didn't really hear anything. He just walks off, and he just smiles and walks back into the line, waiting with Aizawa for him to start. As Aizawa says, "Alright, now this is gonna be the ball throw test." And he throws the ball to Midoriya and asks how far he was able to throw the ball without his quirk. As Izuku then says, "About 40 meters, sir." As Aizawa is like, "Pretty good. Now throw it with your quirk, and don't hold back." As Izuku, he wasn't planning on it. Izuku adds chakra into his hand, and he starts infusing a lightning chakra into his hand as well. He then starts spinning his arm around in a clockwise motion, and then he puts chakra to his feet, and he puts chakra in his upper back, and he chucks the ball full strength, sending it with a trail of lightning, causing massive wind pressure and a crater to form around where Izuku was standing. It wasn't a big crater, but it was a crater nonetheless. It was not that big. It was around the size of a human, like let's just say about a few feet in diameter, as Aizawa looks at the score and he's like, the fuck? This has to be wrong. As he then turns it around and he shows the class, and the class is in awe as Izuku got 6,969 meters. If y'all don't get it, y'all don't get it. But anyway, from there on, everybody was just surprised because they did not expect that much power. And All Might, who's spectating this, he's just like, what the fuck? As he's like, but how? And he's just questioning everything right now. And yeah, now we cut to the next part of the exam, which was the speed test. Now it's Izuku. By the way, everybody got their exact same scores on the ball throw test. Now let's go to the speed test. Now in the 100-meter dash, Izuku, holy shit, like damn, he won by yo shit. Izuku started to coat himself with lightning, similar to how Sasuke did during his fight against Kinshiki, as he then blitzed off. Aizawa didn't even notice Izuku was there for a whole second, so he then just put his score down at 0.0002. Yeah, I know I'm making Izuku broken, but deal with it. I like it like that. Actually, nah, I might balance him out in like later what ifs. Like I might make a balanced, a more balanced Izuku. Not too broken, but still broken enough for y'all to enjoy it. But let me know in the comments if y'all want that. Now, Izuku would get that score, as Ida would be astonished that there's somebody who's this much faster than him, as Ida doesn't even think that with reciprocal burst that he could even match a speed or even come close to a speed of that caliber. So yeah. Also, I'm pretty sure I gave Izuku the body flicker, but the reason why I didn't use it is because plot. If I gave him the body flicker, I probably did. I know I did, but here's the thing about it. It's kind of broken for me to give it to him, which is why I'm not gonna make him use it that much. He's only gonna use it when it's 100% necessary, and I might add a drawback to him using it. Just saying. But anyways, for everything else, everything respectively goes to canon, except Izuku got first and basically everything except for the grip strength, as he did that without chakra and it didn't go well. So here's how the scores as follows. First, we have Izuku Midoriya. Second, we have Todoroki Shoto. Third, we have Katsuma. Fourth, we have Momo. The reason why Todoroki got third in this one is because Endeavor wasn't an abusive piece of shit, and he's actually a good father, meaning Todoroki does use his fire, except he did get the scar, but it was from an unrelated incident, as his mother was cooking hot boiling tea and Shoto came running, hugged her mother while she was holding the tea, and some of it dropped on the left side of Shoto's face, which is how he has the scar in canon. But Shoto's not that depressed anymore, so he's not depressed. He's still a little bit cold, but not that much. Now, enough about Shoto Todoroki. Let's get into the next part of this. As, yeah, everything from here on respectively goes to canon. As I really want to get into the USJ, like, you have no idea how much I want to get into it, but let's do the heroes versus villains first. Now, this is about the third week. This is about the third day. No, yeah, the third day. Yeah, no, it's about the third day. No, not even. It's about the second week. This is about the second week of school, and they're getting ready for their heroics class, as they still have no idea who's going to be teaching them. As I'm gonna just say this for canon, for shits and giggles, it does not start within the first 3 weeks. So just saying, as they hear stomping from coming down the hallway, as we then hear coming in like a normal person, as All Might busts in through the door like, I am here. I, All Might, am going to be your heroics teacher. Now, everybody just yells, whoa, All Might, as then All Might just says, well, now, let's meet at ground beta, but you can't be heroes without the red attire, as he then clicks a button and everybody's hero costume comes out. If you're wondering what Izuku's hero costume is, he will actually be having Sasuke's adult getup. He will not be having his teenager version. He would have Sasuke's adult getup, and he would have. Just imagine Sasuke with two Mangekyos and black hair with green highlights. Yeah, sorry. Just imagine that. Now, once they get outside, Izuku, hey, yo, my boy looking drippy, like, holy, yes sir, my son with the drip. Like, I'm just saying, like, I cannot lie, if Sasuke had green or red tips in his hair, bro, yo, my son would be dripping. Can't lie to you. But he also has a support item, which is his sword, which was specifically made as the sword that he used during the, I'm pretty sure, maybe if I give him, but as the sword that he uses to, as this sword is specifically made to be able to conduct not only his electricity but his flames as well, as the sword is made out of a heat resistant, flame resistant material that can also be heavenly conductant to electricity. As yes, yeah, that's how I'm going with this. Now, when a class 1A sees this, Kirishima walks up and is like, bro, you look so manly. As Denki's like, yo, look at Midoriya, his suit looks cool. As Katsuma's looking at it and she just starts blushing, as the girls, they all get a hint of blush as well, as Izuku then just straight up, no hold, just straight up looking like a snack, no homo, but like, nah, I can't lie, nah, for real though, nah, bro, I ain't about that. I'm sorry. Alright, but yo, for real though. Now, during the questioning, Izuku looked, not the questioning, during the gathering, Izuku looked over to Katsuma. He saw how her costume just slightly exaggerated her proportions, can't lie to you. As if you've seen Bakugo's mom, bro, like, yo, if Katsuki was a girl, bro, if Katsuki Bakugo from the anime was a girl, bro, yo, she would be a baddie, and I'm pretty sure anybody I know can agree with that. Cause if Bakugo's mom is that much of a baddie, just imagine if Bakugo was a girl. Like, damn, can't even cap. As yeah, Bakugo would have her cannon suit, except it would be made out of a slightly more flame and energy resistant material, as One For All slightly likes burning off clothing. Just saying. Now, Izuku, yeah, he's just chilling in the back as All Might's explaining how the hero versus villains will work, and how there's going to be two teams. One's going to be the heroes and one's going to be the villains that protects the bomb, and the heroes have to take out the villains or touch the bomb or do both, and they win. And in order to get someone out, they have to tie them up with catcher tape or make them unconscious or unable to battle. As All Might pulls out two lucky rolls, as this time it's going to be different, as it's going to be Katsuma and Todoroki versus Ida and Izuku. As Izuku and Ida look at each other, and they're fine with it. As Katsuma looks over at Todoroki, Todoroki Katsuma, they're also fine with it. As Katsuma, before the match even starts, tells Izuku to not hold back. As Izuku then says, "Alright," as they then go off to set up. Now, during this battle, not really during the battle, well, during their setup period, they start devising plans. As Todoroki does not know that Izuku has fire, all he has seen is the lightning. As he then thinks, maybe if I just freeze over the entire building, I could stop both of them in their tracks. But then he realizes that Izuku has lightning, as lightning is extremely conductive in ice. And so he starts thinking, as he then thinks, alright, I'm gonna have to try to use my fire. As Katsuma's like, yeah, we have to kind of rush him, because maybe ice over the wall or something. As Todoroki's like, yeah, that's a good idea. As Ida and Deku just look at each other, and then they just start devising a plan. As Ida's like, how are we gonna beat them? As Izuku says, well, I have fire and ice. As Ida, who was there at the entrance exam, was like, oh yeah. As he then thinks, all we would really have to worry about is Todoroki's, if Todoroki just either shoots a barrage of ice at us, and the timing between switching between his ice and fire. And yeah, that's exactly what happened. As the match starts, and literally off rip, Katsuma goes straight for Deku, because like, yeah, she wants to get him out as fast as humanly possible. As Katsuma then charges 15% one for all, and with her explosion is trying to explode Deku. Explosions being clearly almost as massive as the ones that she uses from her gauntlets. As Izuku's just dodging them effortlessly. Like, he is dodging them effortlessly, as Katsuma's like, I told you not to hold back. As Izuku's like, alright, I guess. As he literally wasted no time. He blitzed behind Katsuma and neck chopped her with full force, knocking her clean out, and also leaving a little bit of a crater in the ground. As Izuku's like, put too much power into it. Damn. As, just saying, she also dislocated her shoulder. Just not even going cap, like that did more than just knock her out. That dislocated her shoulder a bit. So Izuku then just popped her shoulder back into place, and then just tied her up. Yeah, not on no kinky shit, but like, yeah, just tied her up. As Ida is just running towards the bomb, and Ida gets to the bomb room, as he just sees it completely boarded up with ice. As Ida then tries to break the ice by kicking it. Seeing that it has no effect, he tries to use reciprocal burst to break through. As it ends up working a little bit, but Todoroki just adds more ice and sealing up the crack he made. Now added on with that, Ida's engines are now offline because he used reciprocal burst. As Izuku gets up there, he just blitzed up there. As he then starts thinking, you know what, back up, Ida. As he tells Ida to back up, and then Izuku just starts doing hand signs. And he says, fire style, majestic flame! As a massive fireball, far bigger than the explosion that Katsuma made, just straight up burns through the door and almost scorched everything in the room. As Todoroki's surprised, because he's like, what? I didn't know we had fire. As he then starts shooting fire at Deku as to try and counteract Deku's flames, but all it did was redirect it to the left of him, still singeing him just a bit. As Todoroki gets back up, he's like, what the hell? As he then shoots ice straight at Deku. Deku wasted no time. He charged himself with lightning and started cutting through the ice. putting lightning within his blade. Then, right when Izuku was about to touch Todoroki and knock him out, that's when it happened. Nah, I'm just joking. Nah, that's when it happened. Todoroki released ice even more this time and started covering even more of the room. And Izuku is like, you know what? Fuck it. As he then uses the new mode on his sword, where he conducts Katon chakra, or flame, fire chakra, into his sword, and he just slices the ice clean through as if he's cutting through butter. As he then just neck chops Todoroki, knocking him out. As everybody in the watch room was in silence, like you could hear a pen drop, All Might was shocked as Izuku then touches the bomb, and All Might is like, "Hero Team wins!" As Izuku is just like, wow, that was easier than I thought. As he then goes downstairs and picks up a semi-conscious Katsuma and not really teleports, and blitzed straight to Recovery Girl. Well, body flickers there. As I said, he only uses that whenever the time arrives. As yeah, he gets Katsuma healed, and now we're done with that. Now we're into the USJ, as I really want to do this. Like, I really want to do this. As Izuku wakes up, he puts on his clothes and he runs off to Katsuma's house, to the Bakugo household, to pick up Katsuma. As the second he got there, Katsuma was already waiting for him, and Katsuma just gets on his back, and Izuku then just charges himself with lightning chakra and just blitzes over to the school. Once inside, Aizawa starts telling them that we're gonna be going to the USJ. I think it stands for Universal Simulation Joint. Universal Rescue Simulation Joint. Yeah, I think that's what it's called. As then he says, well, we're gonna be doing rescue training there, so everybody get your stuff and go to the bus. As they all do so, and on their way to the USJ, Froppy brings up the question on who's the strongest in the class. As Gyro then says it's probably Midoriya, as he seems to be the one who's tried the least, and he's also taken out some of the people with the strongest quirks in our class, that being the strongest female and one of the strongest males, and the number 2 hero's son. Added on with that, Midoriya is also the number 3 hero's son. Aren't you, Midoriya? As Izuku then says, yeah, I am. As he then starts feeling a bit tired, and he then just straight up falls asleep. Katsuma, seeing Izuku about to fall asleep, sits next to him and just puts his head on her lap so that he can fall asleep. As the girls get jealous, not going cap, like the girls are getting jealous. As yeah, some of them developing the feels for my boy. As we time skip to when they arrive at the USJ, as Izuku, he already feels like something's gonna happen. He knows something's off, cause there should be no reason he should be feeling like this. Cause every time he's felt like this, some shit always goes wrong. As he then activates his Sharingan and he sees a portal forming. As he then tells Aizawa, are there fake villains here? As Aizawa says, no, those are real villains. As she then says, 13, protect the kids. As Izuku looks at Ida and says, Ida, go get help. I need to protect people here. As he's like, but I don't want to abandon the class. Izuku's like, Ida, you will do us the best job if you go out and get help right now. As Izuku then uses shoots a lightning at the door to open it, to short circuit the security locks on the door, and it opens. As Kurogiri shows up and is about to teleport to class, but Izuku sees the metal with his Sharingan, and at the last second, right before Kurogiri is about to teleport everybody, He uses fire. And he shoots a fireball jutsu, singeing the metal part of Kurogiri. As Izuku, he's like, everybody scatter. For as Kurogiri is like, no you don't, and he teleports. And he teleports everybody but Izuku, like in canon. As Izuku then sees Aizawa fighting down all the opponents, and he's like, you know what, fuck it. As he then jumps down with Aizawa, and he proceeds to throw hands. Like, this is like Madara versus the fourth Shinobi army right here. Like, he literally bodying them. As some of the class who didn't get teleported that far away were already starting to head back towards the top of the USJ, at the top of the stairs, as Izuku then just sees villains upon villains near the water zone, and then he looks over there with his Sharingan for a brief moment and sees that Froppy and Mineta are trapped. As Izuku sees this, he wasted no time. He adds chakra to his legs along with adding his lightning cloak, and he instantly blitzed over to the boat as he grabs Mineta and Tsuyu and body flickers back over to the top of the USJ. As Mineta and Tsuyu didn't really know what happened. All they saw was a blur and then them ending up here in Izuku's arms. As they start thanking Izuku for saving them, Izuku says, "Don't thank me yet. Y'all need to stay here." As when Izuku got back up there, some of his classmates had already started getting there, along with Katsuma and Kirishima, along with some of the other rest of the classmates like Kaminari, Momo, and Jiro. As Izuku looked back down and he saw Aizawa getting bombarded by villains with the decayed elbow. As Izuku sees this, he's like, no they don't, as he blitzes over to the villains that were attacking Aizawa and knocks 3 of them clean out, and sees that the last few are starting to get over towards them. As Izuku then yells, "Fire style! Majestic flame!" As he then breathes a massive inferno, an inferno the size of the one Madara made in the 4th Shinobi War. As this inferno just towers over the villains. As Shigaraki sees it, she's like, what the hell? And Kurogiri, bring the Nomu. As the Nomu pops up, as it moves, the Nomu pops up as Kurogiri just teleported it, and Shigaraki says, "Nomu, kill that brat," pointing to Izuku. As it blitzes off towards Izuku. Izuku, seeing the Nomu's movements, but it being around the same strength as All Might's, he then blocks as it shatters his right arm. As Izuku did not expect it to hurt this much. As he gets sent flying towards the water zone, Izuku puts chakra on his feet and lands on top. As Izuku sees the villains that are still in the water zone, as he never actually took them out, start coming after him, he then decides to shoot electricity in the water to knock them out, which it does. As the Nomu starts rushing off towards Izuku, Izuku, seeing this, just straight up jumps over the Nomu's arm and kicks it clean in the head, but it seems to have no effect, as the Nomu grabs Izuku's leg and throws him towards Aizawa, as Izuku lands it, but not before almost slamming into Aizawa. As Izuku then's like, damn. As Katsuma sees this, and she rushes off to go help Izuku, as she then charges up 15% of One For All, and yells, "Howitzer impact!" coming in contact with the Nomu. As the smoke clears, as the massive explosion occurred, the smoke cleared, and Izuku was in awe of what he saw. He saw the Nomu had his whole arm blown off, but it was regenerating. As as Shigaraki just starts laughing like, you can't kill that Nomu. It has regeneration and shock absorption, and it's meant to kill All Might. As the Eraserhead tries to activate his quirk, as Shigaraki sees this, as Shigaraki points at Aizawa and says, Nomu, kill the teacher. Kill Eraserhead. As the Nomu blitzes towards Eraserhead, grabs his arm and snaps it like a twig, causing Aizawa to blink to drop his guard on the Nomu. As Izuku sees this, he is just in shock, as Aizawa is just done for, as he's unconscious right now, as right before the Nomu was about to land a finishing hit, Katsuma got in the way, as she then yells, AP shot, as she shoots a high concentrated beam, well, not really a beam, just a ball of energy, high concentrated ball of energy towards the Nomu, as this was enough to knock it back a bit. As Shigaraki sees this, he's like, Nomu, kill the girl. As Izuku is in shock, as before he could even react, the Nomu blitzes towards Katsumi and punches her clean in the stomach, rupturing her organs just a little bit, but she'll survive. Just I don't know how I'm gonna spin this, but she gets knocked clean towards the left side of the USJ, as Izuku thinks she's dead, as Izuku's eyes begin to morph, as he then begins a silhouette of purple, as his eyes start to morph and start to transform into the Mangekyo Sharingan. As the Nomu was about to rush towards Katsuma again, as Katsuma just went unconscious after the first blow. As Izuku sees this, he yells, enough! As a green ribcage appears around him, and time had seemed to stop. Izuku then sees that the Nomu is stuck in place. He runs over to Katsumi, picks her up, well, Katsuma, and picks her up. He sees the type of damage she's in. She's not in the best shape, but she'll live. As Izuku wasted no time, he blitzed over to the top of the USJ with the other students, taking Aizawa along with him. As time resumed, everybody was in shock of what they saw. They saw Izuku with both Aizawa and Katsuma, and they saw Izuku with eyes filled with rage and anger, as they see a green ribcage surrounding him. As Shigaraki, he feels the bloodlust leaking from Izuku, as Izuku is not afraid to show it, as he is enraged, as he instinctively yells, Susanoo! As the massive skeleton appears around him, forming a head, forming two arms, armor not around it yet because he has not reached that stage. As he then looks down at the Nomu, as Izuku wasted no time, he instinctively stops time, blitzed over to the Nomu, and starts beating on it, as every hit leaving shockwaves upon shockwaves. As time resumed, as everybody was shocked because all they saw was Izuku in one place, and then in the next they see him in front of the Nomu, as the Nomu is on the ground looking as if it's been shattered, it's been broken many times. As Izuku has not let up, he starts pouring chakra and amounts of chakra into his fist, and then he starts yelling, Kiden! as lightning starts to form out of his hand, and the clouds above the USJ start striking with lightning, as Izuku then brings his hand down and say, "Be gone with the thunderclap, Kirin!" As a massive thunder cat, well, not really thunder cat, thunder like feline creature, just straight up strikes the Nomu, disintegrating it down to the atomic level. As Izuku turns to Shigaraki, as Shigaraki's been instilled with nothing but fear, as Izuku then yells, "Amaterasu." Well, he didn't actually yell it, he just hears the words in his head and he just says it. He yells "Amaterasu" as green flames appear, and Shigaraki starts seeing his arm being burned away as he starts screaming in pain, as Izuku then rushes over and uses his lightning enhanced blade and slices Shigaraki's hand clean off, as Kurogiri realizes what's about to happen and immediately teleports Shigaraki away. As Izuku turns around to his classmates in shock, as Izuku just blitzes over to the entrance and falls unconscious. And that's where we're gonna end this off here, guys. And right before this video ends off, I would like to say thank you guys for all who supported me on my last video. I will be uploading part 1 of it, I think tomorrow, more than likely. But without further ado, this is goodbye. Peace.
Who am I? Someone that you